This conference will now
7:01.
be recorded.
Okay, I call the meeting of the Montezuma Regional Planning Commission for Thursday, April 7th, 2022 to order at 7:01 p.m. I just want to note that we will be following Governor Baker's orders in regards to the COVID-19, where all votes will be taken by roll call. Okay, very good. I guess the first item of business is the roll call of people present. You don't need to respond. Just if I, at the end of the calling out, have missed you, please speak up. We have Brad Karras, Karen Chapman, Kayla Kress, Alan Pease, Lynn Butland, George Cahale, Glenn Eaton, Guy Clavicero, Ollie Ford, John Telepiak, Kyle Natorowitz, Laura Schiffrin, Linda Quinlivan, Rick Ward, Robert Schwartz, Roger Hoyt, Stacy Donahue, Veronica, Cal, caller 2 is me calling in on the phone, and Jessica DeRoy. Have I missed anyone? Not hearing any, we'll move on to the approval of the March 3rd, 2022 MRPC minutes. They were distributed earlier today, and they've been on the website for a while. I don't know if everybody's read them, but if somebody feels comfortable making a motion to accept them as printed, or if you have any corrections, please speak up.
Move to accept the Montezuma Regional Planning Commission meeting minutes of March 3rd, 2022.
And that was Robert Schwartz who made the motion. Do I have a second? No?
Lynn Butland.
Lynn Butland seconded. I'll take that as a second. Any additions, corrections on the minutes? If not, I will call the roll. Okay, Alan Pease.
Abstain.
Lynn Butland.
Aye.
Guy Clavicero, the chair votes aye. Jessica DeRoy.
Aye.
John Telepiak.
Aye.
Laura Schiffrin.
Aye.
Robert Schwartz.
Aye.
Roger Hoyt.
Aye.
Stacy Donahue.
Aye.
Veronica Kell.
I don't believe she's on.
Okay,
Are we
and
recording?
Kyle Natorowitz. Kyle? I guess not either. I just want to also note that sometimes we have both the main appointee and the alternate. I might not realize the so I will call your name out, and you can either say you can't vote or just vote, and they'll figure it out. Okay, and that is passed unanimously. Okay, one other item I forgot to do is guest speakers. Now, as a matter of fact, George Cahale, not being part of the MRPC now, is a guest. Do you have anything for us, George, from the mark? And you're muted.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have just one announcement. MART will be changing the fare box collection system on its buses. to be more reliable and efficient and easy to use by our client to purchase tickets and passes. And also will be installing 10 to 12 automatic vending machines throughout MART bus route system. These vending machine will be easy for the riders to purchase tickets, and they don't have to come to MART offices to purchase tickets. Will be much easier. And we going to put them in ITC, Monument Square, in Atoll. If anybody has a suggestion for a location, please email me. And also will be, we are working on improving our bus routes system through the region. If anybody knows a location need to be served or a neighborhood and we're not serving it, please contact me. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, George. That should help streamline the process of people buying tickets. It's good that they
Yes.
are getting to the 21st century.
Yes.
Thank you, George.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
very good. Now we'll move on to the cash schedule for March 2022. That was sent to all members, hopefully earlier today, along with it's here on our handout. Who would like to speak to that, Laura, or would you like to pass that off to?
No, I'm good. Unless
Okay,
Roger
good.
wants to. I don't want to take
No.
away from Roger. I understood that I could have been calling on him. But,
That's fine, Laura. Go ahead.
Oh, Roger, okay. Couple of things. And first of all, I want to thank Linda again for the general ledger detail. I really like seeing that. It gives me, I always see something different anyway. And excuse my ignorance, if I could get what is the OBRA and non-OBRA?
So what that is it's deferred compensation. In addition to like our retirement employees can, put away a percentage or a flat amount for retirement savings. In OBRA, so non-OBRA is just the normal employees, but the OBRA is for temporary part-time employees that can't contribute into the retirement system. So because we as a agency don't pay into Social Security and they can't join the retirement board, they have to go into the deferred comp. And the OBRA, trying to think of what that stands for. Can't really think of it at the moment. Something omnibus, I think. But anyway, that's what that is, Laura.
All right. Well, I appreciate the explanation. And each time we do this, we learn something more. So maybe you can get us the definition of the acronym for the next meeting.
Sure.
Thank you for the explanation. I appreciate that. Now, everybody actually got these because I saw the email a couple days ago. So does anyone else have any questions before I give the balances? And that's what I'll do today. I'm not going to give every line item because you can all see them, but I will give the balances for the record. Anyone have any questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll proceed. I do have a question though in reference to, and this may have always been like this, on our agenda where the cash schedule, it asks for approval of commissioners of the approval of the commissioners is requested. We accept the reports as you give us, subject to audit. We are not in a position to approve. So I just want to make that clarification there, okay?
Okay.
So beginning balances for, or the ending balance, you see, February 28th was $297,680.72. So the total opening balances for March 1st was $677,535.44. Balance after the warrant being the $94,452.15 is $661,235.77. And that is what we have on deposit as of March 31st, 2022. The warrant being the payroll and cash disbursements. So if there are no questions to what you were sent a couple days ago or what we just spoke of, I will entertain a motion to accept the cash schedule as presented to the board, subject to audit.
So moved.
Accept the cash schedule subject to audit. Alan Peters.
I think Robert seconded that. Mr. Chair, do you want to do your roll call vote?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, very good. There's no other questions. Alan Pease,
Aye.
Lynn Butland,
Aye.
I call the chair votes aye. Jessica Dewey,
Aye.
John Telepiak,
Aye.
Jonathan Cramps,
Aye.
Laura Schifrin,
Aye.
Robert Schwartz,
Aye.
Roger Hoyt,
Aye.
Stacy Donahue,
Aye.
Veronica Kell,
Aye.
Kyle Torowitz. Not hearing anything. He's the last person. So the cash schedule is accepted unanimously. Okay, very good. Next item on the agenda. Actually, this is where I should have had George. Guest announcements and questions. Well, thank you for it earlier, George. Do we have any questions before we get into the next item? Not hearing any, we move to point 5, election of community delegates and alternate delegates to the nominating committee for the purpose of creating a slate of officers to serve on the executive committee. And these come out of Article 2 of the Commission Organization, page 2, MRPC bylaws. Anyway, at the last meeting, we did have some volunteers. So I guess tonight is the election of them. Does anybody want to speak up to who the slate is?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I asked Holly earlier, and because I had forgotten, so Holly was kind enough to send me the names. So Robert Schwartz, John Telepsiak, and Carl Nardowitz volunteered to serve on the nominating committee. So if those 3 people are still interested, you'd vote them into the nominating committee tonight. And then at the next meeting in May, and it's so nice to say the next meeting is May because spring is here, that we would, the staff will do the contacts, reach out to the 6 or 7 people on the executive committee. We'll ask them if they still want to serve or not. So we'll do some legwork, and we'll meet with these 3 folks at about 6:30 p.m. on the first Thursday of May, at just before the next meeting in May. Thank you, sir.
Okay, very good, Glenn. So we have the slate of officers. for the nominating committee. And any of those people object? I think they're all there. So what I will do is I will accept a motion to appoint the nominating committee of the so mentioned members. Anybody like to make that motion?
I'll move that motion.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Robert. Made it, and I guess Alan Pease is seconding it. Okay, the committee's talking to themselves. So, any other nominations? Not here. Well, should have done that first. Not hearing any questions or other nominations, I will call the roll. Not all in favor. I'm going to call the roll. Alan Pease.
Aye.
Lynn Butland.
Aye.
I call the sale votes aye. Jessica DeRoy.
Aye.
John Telepiak.
I vote aye, but I would like to add, if anybody's interested in serving, let us know.
Oh, please do. Anybody that, any other positions at all, whether it's from chairman to secretary to treasurer, if you feel like you want to do that for a year, please step up. Okay, Jonathan Krantz,
Aye.
Laura Schifrin,
Aye.
Linda, I'm sorry, Robert Schwartz,
Aye.
Roger Hoyt,
Aye.
Casey Donahue,
Aye.
Veronica Kell,
Aye.
Kyle Narkowitz. No, not hearing anything from him. The slate is elected unanimously. Thank you. And again, want to serve on any of the positions, feel free to express that. Okay, next item on the agenda is administrative matters, which is under Glenn's purview. So, Glenn, you can take it away.
Thank you, sir. Very quickly, item 6.1, Holly's helping me and so are department heads with updating some items on the website to kind of refresh the narrative that's there. And from that, we've been working on that this week. We'll continue next week, and we'll get a twofer out of that because updates we make to the website, then I'm going to throw into a brochure and just get it out to all of our local officials in our database. And what we'll do is we'll just do it's education, basically it's marketing also. So we'll get that done by next Friday. Let's see, new funding updates. I just want to quickly, and Karen, if you want to talk about these now, or if you want to talk about them more under your section for planning development, that's your call. But basically, I just want to plant a couple seeds that, let's see, it was last summer, Growing Places Inc., or I call them GPI. Growing Places Inc. is a nonprofit. They've been around for quite a while. Physically, they're located where we are on the Doyle Center at the TOR property in Leominster. They have an office in the red house behind where we are, behind our office space. And they pursued a USDA grant, U.S. Department of Agriculture grant. Let's see, I think it was last summer. It was awarded in the summer or the fall. And basically, we're a consultant and we'll provide some planning services to assist them. And it's in writing there, so I'm not going to go over it. But there's an executive summary there that's in italics. We'll do what we do best, and the research and planning, organizing, public outreach. There's some GIS work involved, and SWOT and SOAR analyses as well. Kayla, can you scroll down beyond the italicized stuff, please? Thanks. The other. Now we're going to get compensated about 30 grand. The project goes till about September, October of 2023. And then the last thing I'll say is we pursued, in this paragraph in the middle of the screen, Karen uploaded the documents and applied for our annual EDA, or Economic Development Administration Planning Grant, for economic development planning services. We also applied for, I've been talking about this a lot this year, for a future industrial lands for long-term economic recovery and resiliency, or a filter project under what the EDA calls economic adjustment assistance. It's basically planning. If we get awarded, that'll be a 3-year term. Now, that we applied for in 16, we didn't get it. We applied in 18, we didn't get it. There's more money now. We hope to get it. And if we get rejected, we're just going to keep applying. When we met, when Karen and I met with our economic development representative, or EDR, Deborah Bevan, about a month, 6 weeks ago, she really liked the project. She really thought we should go for it. But she's been the one that's been helping us since 2016 to make this a better mousetrap, if you will. I've talked a lot about this in the past, so I won't chew my cabbage twice. Karen, did you want to say anything about these grants, or later under plan and development? That's your call. No, I'm seeing you shake your head. So, okay, great. Kayla, can you scroll down, please, to the next page? So this is very quickly, just a quick update that I like seeing green when it's a low case count with COVID. This is what the vast majority of the national map looks like. I just did a screenshot for Southern New England and Massachusetts. Basically, this means that we can start working in the office in the reasonably near future. If you scroll down again, please, Kayla, I think it's the next paragraph or the next page, actually. So what, basically, this narrative, this italicized narrative, is now on the website. COVID office conditions, something like that, on the very homepage. Basically, we're moving toward the point where we need to go back into the office. I'm not asking staff or requiring staff to come in before the end of the school year. We have at least 4 out of the 17-ish employees that we have kids in school, and it's very disruptive to them. We're functioning, I think, pretty well, working remotely. Basically, any staff can come in if they want to, and I'll pick a date like I did last year. Basically, I said, okay, folks, I think I said, okay, I picked a May date and said, okay, everybody's welcome back. And that's, probably what I'll do again very soon, probably next week. I'll pick a May date and say, okay, welcome. And then I'll make it a requirement again when school's out. And school typically is out. I haven't been to high school a long time, so it's, toward the end of June. So it'll probably be the end of June. That'd be a target date. That's the gist of what's going on here. We'll continue the remote meetings as long as the state amendment to the open meeting law allows, which I think that was extended by the legislature and the governor from this April through the June 30. We'll watch legislation and see if that'll be extended again. But most likely at the May and or June meetings with the commissioners, that we'll have a discussion of, okay, folks, it's the May and June meeting, and then it's the June meeting. We don't see any extensions coming on remote. So then we would have to follow the open meeting law. What that means is we can at least do hybrid meetings as long as we have under the open meeting law before it was changed and amended under COVID. It basically said as long as you have a quorum in the room, you can invite people to participate remotely. So we'll concurrently keep you informed while we watch legislation to see if anything changes, and follow the open meeting law. So that's basically all I'm recommending that we do. That paragraph talks about core working days. What we did last year was I had people work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the office, everybody, so that we could have face-to-face communication, small group meetings, and so on and so forth. And then the Thursday, Friday, folks could work at home or in the office. That's the gist of that paragraph. Kayla, could you go to page 7, please? I don't know if this continues or if it's something else. We've had a couple of requests to use the atrium and or small conference room. I've got a couple that I've got to get back to a couple of people, but I wanted to go to the commissioners first, saying I believe it's a lot more safe to do so now. So the couple of small groups that would like to use the atrium, I think in late April or May or both, I don't recall right now. I don't have those dates in front of me. So I have to get back to those people. I think Karen's involved in one group or maybe both of them. I can't recall right now. But the bottom line is if we allow people back in, it's safe to do so. I'm comfortable with that. But before COVID, the staff that were working in the office spaces abutting the atrium, goes back 4 or 5 years, said it was disruptive to them while people were meeting in the atrium. So what I want to try to do is coordinate if we're going to allow people back that, if we allow a small group to use the atrium, that I want to coordinate with the staff, and I don't want this to be disruptive to the staff. And then that's just the bottom line. So I just want to, talk to the people, especially on the east side of our office space that faces Abbott Avenue, and try to make this happen so we can have meetings back again and try to have some level of normalcy, but to do it safely as humanly possible and with the least amount of disruption. That's the gist of 6.3. I'll move on. If there's questions, great. Then just interrupt, please. 6.4. So in our lease agreement with the trustees of reservations, or TOR, we signed a lease that was technically a 10-year lease, but it had, at the end of 5 years, let us know if you want to renew. And for the same rate, essentially, that we have had now. So we started out at $30,000 a year in rent, which was about a third or a fourth of the market rate for commercial A office space. And at the end of the 5 years, the whole 10 years, there was a calculation, and it went something like, at the end of the year one, the percentage increase in the lease, the monthly or the annual lease would go up. I think it was 2.5%. Linda may remember because she does the checks better than me. It goes up a small percentage each year, basically. So basically, I emailed the two parties at the TOR that we have contact with, basically our landlord representatives, and said, we'd like to extend the lease, just stay here. And Brian Westrick is his name, and then Joe Economo is his associate, and Joe's supposed to be writing up a lease. And I'm going to push out another. I haven't heard in a couple weeks. I haven't heard since late March or mid-March. I'm going to push out another email to them and say, okay, I think you're working on a lease. Can we see it? And just move forward. So unless there's an objection by the commissioners now or in the near future at this meeting, the May meeting or the June meeting, I strongly recommend that we just stay there. It's primarily a cost issue, but also it's the nicest office space in the greater northern Worcester County area. So I don't see any urgent reason to move the office. It's a great deal, and if you those of you that don't know the numbers work for us. So that's just a quick heads up. The 6.5 is, I'll give you the gist of 6.5, then I'll dive into a couple of the numbers. So when we set up the budget last June, when I asked you to approve the budget for FY22, we put about $18,000 in the equipment/furniture purchase line item, and we put $1,000 in the conference meetings training line item. Now, typically the conference meetings training line item would be $3,000 or $5,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 in the past. It's always been about 5-ish. We decreased it last year because we were in, after the first year of COVID, and it was continuing, we didn't see a lot of need for training. And now they're offering one entity in particular, Employers Association of New England, or EANE, is offering a boatload of training sessions. And about 3 of us want to take some training in human resources and in some Microsoft Excel, some Microsoft tips for people who are too busy to take training. I guess that's one of the titles. But anyway, the gist here is that the $18,000 for the equipment line item was set up to purchase the printer, copy machine, scanner, fax machine, all one unit. As you know, these days it's all one plastic box with electronics inside. We only spent about $9,000 on that, 9 and change. So we have a boatload of money left over. We've transferred some money out of equipment purchase maybe a couple months ago to do something else. There's still a balance of $8,387.14. So I'm recommending that, because we have training need right now of, technically the number that Holly shared with me today was about $2,100. But I'm looking to take another Excel course. That's another $300 or $500. So that would get us to the $2,500, $2,600 mark. So I'm asking for approval to transfer $3,000 out of the equipment line item into the training line item to pay for some staff training between essentially this month through, I think it's mostly April and May. There might be some training in June, but it's mostly April and May. So be it resolved, commissioners, of the MRPC approve of the staff request to transfer $3,000 from equipment furniture purchase account into the conference meetings and training line item, and that's why. That's it, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have. I think I'm ending on this resolution 6.5.
Okay, very good. Do we have any questions from to Glenn about this resolution, or would somebody like to move it?
I have a question. John Tlepsia. Would these meetings and conferences all be online, or people would be attending?
Most of them are online, John. I do remember one. There were some offered that were in Agawam, where EANE has its main office. Most are online. I think the ones I was keying in for were only online. I believe Kayla and Holly wanted to attend trainings also. I would have to defer to them if they remember if their trainings are online or down in
I
Agawam.
believe they're all online.
All online, Holly?
Yes.
Yeah, mine were online too.
Kayla online. Okay. Yeah,
I'm
I did
sure.
online only. Yeah, so I think they're all online, John.
Sure, thank you.
Sure.
Okay,
So I would make a motion to accept that resolution.
okay, very good. John Gillespie moves the resolution. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Alan P. seconds. Any more questions?
That was Bob
No.
Schwartz, second.
I know.
I have a question
All right.
on just,
Just a clarification.
what's that?
You it?
Okay, I'll call a roll in.
Yep.
Okay, to move the resolution, Alan P.
Aye.
Elaine Butland.
Aye.
Guy Corbett, Chair votes aye. Jessica DeRoy.
Aye.
John Telepiat.
Aye.
Jonathan Krantz.
Aye.
Al Natowitz. Okay, Laura Schifrin.
Aye.
Robert Schwartz.
Aye.
Roger Hoyt.
Aye.
Tracy Donahue.
Aye.
Veronica Kell.
Aye.
Okay, and the resolution is passed unanimously. Okay, very good. Next item on the agenda is status reports, January through March 2022. Actually, I'm going to move down to planning and development. If I'm not mistaken, we have a resolution here, and this one I think will be Sharon, is this yours?
Yes, it is.
Okay, if you want to speak to that, then I'll go to status reports.
Kayla, can you scroll down, please? The top. So this is in response to the solicitation we sent out before March 1st. 5 proposals were received in this second round by the deadline of April 4th. Those are Ashburnham Assistance Complying with the MBTA Communities, Ashburnham Development of a Goals and Objectives Master Plan Chapter, Ashby Air and Lancaster, also MBTA Community Assistance, and then Regional COVID Dashboarding like we did last year. That's a GIS function. So I will read the resolution. Be it resolved that the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission recommends that number 1 through number 6 of the above named project requests for District Local Technical Assistance, DLTA, if eligible, be conditionally awarded based upon further communication, clarification, negotiation with the applying communities and approval from the Massachusetts Department of Housing and Community Development, DHCD. Moreover, all activities in some applications may not be awardable under the DLTA program. MRPC staff reserves the right to negotiate an awardable detailed scope of service and budget amount. Those requests conditionally awarded, number 1 through 6, are subject to the conditions listed below in the attachment, and I'm not going to read all that.
Okay, great, thank you.
I would make a motion to accept that resolution. John
Okay,
Chlup,
I'll second.
Robert Schwartz seconds it. Do I have any questions of Karen? No, pretty straightforward. If no questions, I'll call the roll. Alan Pease,
Aye.
Lynn Butman,
Aye.
Clyde Corvusale votes aye. Jessica Deloy,
Aye.
John Telepiat,
Chlup, aye.
Jonathan Krantz,
Aye.
Al Naratowicz. Still out there, Laura Schiffrin,
Aye.
Robert Schwartz,
Aye.
Roger Hoyt,
Aye.
Casey Donahue,
Aye.
and Veronica Kell.
Aye.
And the resolution is passed unanimously.
Mr.
Do you have
Chairman?
anything else? Please.
Yes, I just wanted to say that that rounds out our district local technical assistance program for this year. We have exhausted all the funds, so we have a total of 16 projects for this year. And 9 of them are MBTA community assistance.
Wow.
We'll be having happy zoning parties.
Thank you, Karen, for your work.
There was another item above that in the agenda. EPA Brownfield Conference and Training Request. Glenn, I thought you were doing this under your, do you want me to do it under here?
Why
Yes,
not?
please.
Because, yes, this is the month we had voted to do status reports only every 3 months. So this is a month, so I was going to skip back. But please, these items here, let's take that before we go to rejoining on about the status reports.
So the, this year, well, last year they canceled the Brownfields conference because of COVID, obviously, and they're doing an in-person conference in August. And I would like to attend that in August. I've already registered for it. There's no penalty if you don't go, but so I've registered for it, and I registered for a hotel because if you don't register the day they open, you don't get a hotel. And then there'll be airfare of an amount undetermined, but as of right now, those 3 things are estimated to be around $1,200.
So you're just giving us a heads up at this moment.
Yes.
Okay. Good, thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to put, we always put together a report and resolution for conference requests for out-of-state travel. So you'll see that at the May meeting.
Very good. Anything else, Karen?
Did you want me to go in? No, never mind. Go ahead. I'm done.
Okay, you're done with planning and development. Okay, I'm going to jump back to status reports. As I mentioned, this is our 3-month status report, January through March. That is a separate document that was on the website or actually was emailed to you. So what I'm going to do is, like we did every month, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to hit the headings. If anybody wants to ask questions on any of the subjects, please just speak up because I'll be looking down at the screen here and I won't be seeing anybody making motions. So even if I'm halfway down another page, if you have a question, speak up. Don't feel free to interrupt me. Okay, we have the contract status report, April 7th, 2022. And under these categories, I'll be reading the categories and also the names of the project under those categories. We have local technical assistance, and then it's miscellaneous projects. Nothing listed there. Then we have miscellaneous GIS contracts. They are Geographical Information Systems, Williston Mr. Mapper Update, Air Parcel Update, Shirley Parcel Update, and Westminster Parcel Update. Then we go into miscellaneous traffic counts, transit and transportation, no updates. Williston Green Communities, planning and development. A contract extension has been executed by the community to complete this project. A final report will be developed and sent to the Mass Department of Energy and Resources. So that's for the Williston Green Community. Then we go down to EPA Brownfield, no updates. Affordable Access Regional Coordination, planning and development. Senior planner Megan Donahue is working on a page on MRPC's website to host information for this project to introduce energy efficiency to low-income residents and low-income property owners. Other planners on staff will distribute information to communities to have on hand for the public regarding how to receive free energy audit and reduce or free energy efficiency performances on their homes. Then we move down to, no questions there, Athol Social Services Planning and Development. Miscellaneous Tough Swam, no updates. Montechusett Age Friendly Project, no updates. EDA COVID-19. Planning and Development. Under that, final comprehensive economic development strategies is on the website for review. Geographic Information Systems, working on completing the environmental constraints on development to identify the undeveloped areas. No questions there. Hubbardston Green Community, planning and development. A contract extension has been sent to communities to finish the project. Then we move on to planning assistance grants. Sterling, Hubbardston, Athol Downtown Zoning Amendment, project complete. Hubbardston Master Plan implementation. Planning and development, a draft implementation chapter is being presented to the Hubbardston Planning Board on April 7th, along with a timeline to ensure completion and adaptation by Hubbardston before June 30th. I guess as we speak. Sterling Master Plan implementation. Planning and development project is complete and undergoing final edits by VHB before adoption by Sterling. No questions there. We move into DLTA for 1/20/21 through 12/31/21. Ashburnham Master Plan land use chapters. Senior planner identified Jennifer Burney has received open space information from the town and is completing the draft chapter for the planning board review. GIS has provided acreage and percentages of the land depicted in the map. Will continue to provide data as needed, and that's Ashburnham Master Plan. Ashburnham zoning map, no updates at this time. Ashburnham infrastructure mapping, no updates. Harvard Master Plan transportation chapter. A draft of this chapter update was sent to Harvard for review. Comments have been received, and work to finish this chapter by April 30th is ongoing. GIS, waiting for locations for future transportation projects to include on new map. Then we go to Harvard Agricultural Commission study. Project is complete. Hubbardston Town Center Overlay District. MRP staff with the Economic Development Committee and separately several times Must have met separately several times with the EDC chair. Completed a zoning analysis for Hubbardston, looked at Pierre Townsend zoning analysis, created a draft visual preference survey, which staff is awaiting feedback on, that has not been launched yet. The EDC would like to visit Pierre Towns. MRP staff are working on a rough draft of zoning and design guidelines, which will include the visual preferences survey results. Then also under Hubbardston, GIS, detailed map for the parcels was created and developed. Before analysis, a list of parcels with the 2 zoning districts was also provided to aid in analysis. Then under that category, Lancaster 40-yard district development. This project is complete following last-minute changes by GIS staff, and under GIS, provided information regarding wetlands and private water supply. Updated map to depict the revised overlay district and environmental contained lands more accurately. Provided updates, land calculations, and other technical assistance for completion of the application. Okay, then no questions there. Move on. Leominster Open Space update. MRPC staff are working on the final edits provided by the city and the Mass Department of Conservation and Recreation conditional approval comments. Okay, GIS under that same category, no new information at this time. Neshoba Regional Greenway, MRP staff will attend meetings in April to wrap up this project. Royalston Village Center, bylaw amendment. This project is being continued in DLTA 15. Shirley 40R feasibility. This project is being contained in DLTA 15. Sterling streamlined permitting guidebook. Senior Planner Megan provides a draft of the guidebook to the Economic Development Committee for comment. Then we move on to Templeton Green Community. Work on this project is continuing, facilitated release of grant funds for expenditure. A project extension will be sent to the community. EDA Year 3 of fee. This contract is used for tasks not currently under contract, such as data collection requested by communities, developing grant application research and development practices, and keeping up with the latest law, grants, and legislative action, and various other tasks. Then we move on to Lancaster hazard mitigation, planning and development. Principal Planner Jeff LaGrosse and Regional Planner Jonathan Voss have reviewed information from EA's meeting, reviewed and analyzed data from the previous plans. Staff recently met with the HMP working group to confirm identity hazards, risks, vulnerabilities, and mitigation goals. Staff has conducted interviews. Staff are now incorporating HMPWG. And then we go under, in that same category, GIS. Classify the unknown land use data update of the land use table to analyze the land use more accurately. So on. Combined planning grant, support of 3C progress. Transit and transportation, MJTC meeting held on 1/12/22, 2/9/22, and 3/9/22. Next meeting 4/13/22. NPO meetings were held on various dates. Next meeting 4/20/22. No questions on transit and transportation. Development of UPWP, transit and transit staff has continued to work on the development of the FFY 2023 Unified Planning Works Program that will run from October 1st, 2022 to September 30th, 2023. And so on. Geographic information systems compile the most recent demographic data to update the equity analysis definition criteria and identify the areas that met the new definitions, etc. Public participation program. Transit and transportation staff is continuing to work on the development and update in the public participation program for the Montechusett MPO. Development of the TIP, that's ongoing. MPO voted on 119 to endorse the TIP Amendment 1 related to changes in the FY22 transit element. The MPO also voted to release for a 21-day public review and comment period, Amendment 2 to the FFY 2022 transit element. Staff continued with the development of the FFY 2023 to 2027 TIP, and staff met with DOT, and draft funding scenarios were discussed. A draft will be presented to the MPO on April 20th, 2022. So good meeting to see, attend if you want to see where your projects are on that MPO schedule. Okay, then we move on to, we have a chart here with total regional comparisons. Then we move into regional demographics and model. Staff attended meetings at the Mass DOT Socioeconomical Projections Committee on 2/9/22 and 3/9/23 to discuss issues in the development of new state and community population projects as part of the next RTP. And the GIS staff attended meetings at the Mass DOT Socioeconomical Projects Committee on the same days to discuss issues with development of new state and community population projects as part of the next RTP. And then GIS mapping and analysis. Under Transit and Transportation, no updates. GIS, staff attended the RPA data use group meeting, and staff finished completing geographic zoning data. GIS planning assistance, last caster zoning overlay map update. Updated the official zoning map to include the proposed spot growth overlay district. GIS planning assistance to Lunenburg trail maps. Complete edits in the 12/18 version. Added UR here symbols. GIS planning assistance AFL zoning update. Complete updates to the AFL zoning data layers in the downtown area. Then we move into data collection and analysis program. Staff attended the RPA data use group meeting. Staff also began review of count locations for the upcoming season. GIS, staff has, under that same category, staff has been cleaning the new census data as it has been released. No questions yet. Pavement management system, staff discussed program and possible assistance with town of Hubbardston. Staff also responded to Mass DOT survey with UMass via online meetings. And under GIS, staff updated pavement data, maps, and analysis. Regional transportation plan update. Staff continues to development of the RTP schedule and identified various tasks. GIS, staff finalized bicycle infrastructure and pedestrian infrastructure map, as well as trail maps for each community. Under the mobility and access planning, staff continues to review prior studies and reports related to mobility and access planning in the region. Under GIS of that same category, staff finalized bicycle infrastructure and pedestrian infrastructure maps. Then we go to community trail programming. Transit and Transportation staff worked with the Sterling Open Space Committee to determine potential funding for trails at Penks Pond. And goes on a little bit more. GIS, staff completed final touches for the bicycle infrastructure and the pedestrian infrastructure map. Then we go to an intersection analysis. Transit and Transportation staff distributed the roundabouts in the regional study to member communities and also conducted a review of the Mass DOT Safe Speeds website. An announcement was created and sent to member communities. And then technical assistance to the MART, GIS, staff compiled and provided 2022 census population count by community in the MART, and also provided 2020 census rates and ethnicity population counts by block grants. And staff completed most recent March GIS files and provided them to the Mass Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. And it goes on a little more. Bus stop ADT accessibility evaluation. Staff continues the development of schedule for the analysis of Gardner fixed route bus system. Existing routes examined and stop locations identified. And then under GIS, no updates. For that, then we move on to Mass Department of Energy Resources, DOER, Regional Energy Planning Assistance. Mass staff answered questions from DOR on completed and submitted Green Communities Annual Report for Tazappa, Lancaster, and Shirley. And moving on to Planning Assistance Grants, Ashburnham. This is a new contract in the amount of $46,835. MRPC staff will complete the following 4 master plan chapters as part of the contract. And list the chapters. Then we go into Planning Assistance Grant, Hubbardston. This also is a new contract in the amount of $28,101. MRPC staff will update the town's large-scale solar photovoltaic bylaw. A kickoff meeting is planned. And then we go into Phillipston under that same category. This is a new contract in the amount of $46,838. The Transportation Department, along with the P&D Department, will develop a climate vulnerability assessment and climate change resiliency plan. Kickoff meeting is being planned. And then under another planning assistance grant for Townsend. This also is a new contract in the amount of $26,228. MRP staff will update the town's open space and recreation plan. And then we go down to Leominster zoning ordinance. This also is a new contract to perform edits to Leominster zoning code. And the new updates are completed. MRC staff complete the edits to the code at the rate of $250 to individual zoning amendment until 6/30/22. Some edits have been completed thus far. Then under DLTA 35, this is our annual DLTA grant. Call for proposals were sent via mail and email to our communities on January 25th with the first round due March 1st, second round due April 5th. Okay, then we move. Groton, MBTA Community Assistance. Contract fully executed. Harvard, update open space and recreation plan. Contract fully executed. Worthington, amendment zoning bylaw for assisted living multifamily small businesses. Contract sent to communities for signature. Staff will attend the kickoff meeting. 40R continuation MBTA communities assistance. Contract sent to the community for signature. Staff attended planning board meeting March 9th to discuss the scope of services. Then we go on to MBTA community assistance, planning and development. Contracts will be sent to the community first week of April. And kickoff meeting will be scheduled. Visualization study for sharing a planned and or conservation agent. Contract will be sent to communities in the first week of April. MBTA community assistance. Contract sent to the communities for signature. Assistance to Affordable Housing Trust for Action Plan and Housing Production Plan Implementation. Contract sent to the communities for signature. MBTA community assistance. Contract is fully executed. Staff is meeting with the town planner on April 1st. And I think I missed, that's Westminster. MBTA community assistant. And then Winchendon Housing Production Plan Development. Contract is fully executed. Staff is meeting with the planning board on April 19th. Oh, that's information to me. Thank you. To discuss the project scope of timeline. Okay, and then we go, last but not least, Townsend Green Communities. Contract fully executed to assist Townsend with their competitive grant. And I think that is the end of the contract status report. Do we have any questions from anybody in regards to anything that I hit that I was moving maybe too fast for them to say something? I guess not, so that's our contract status report for 3 months. In another 3 months, I will be reading that, about a 15-minute document. But let's go back to the agenda. Hang on one second while I get to the end of that. Okay, next item on the agenda is new business. Does anybody have any new business, or any of the staff, any comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay, Laura Schifrin. I actually wanted to say something during Glenn's report under 6.1 outreach, community outreach, but I wasn't quick enough. But perhaps my comments are better now after the status reports. First, I want to thank Glenn over and over and over again for your March 25th letter to the Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development on behalf of 13 of the communities in this region. Townsend being one of them. There's only 2 cities of the 13. The other 11 are under 10,000 in population. And those towns, we all face the same thing in trying to execute the future of additional housing units to our communities. So this morning, I attended a Government Affairs Committee meeting for NICMAR, which is the North Central Massachusetts Association of Realtors. The board itself covers about 23 cities and towns in this region. So probably one more, and I don't know which one that is, than MRPC covers. And every year we hold a informal forum with the mayors of the cities, being Fitchburg, Leominster, and Gardner. So this morning the conversation went to, what about all the other members of our board, which is about 20 other communities? And, you know, the discussion was, you can't really have selectmen come. They're really not up on this kind of thing. You really can't have a town administrator come because they're really not political. Well, tongue in cheek when I say that, but for the most part, this is how they're viewed by the Realtor Association. The Realtor Association's primary purpose in legislative issues is to protect private property rights. So we're very active on what legislation does come to pass. So why I bring this up, and the way I bring it up, is because I brought up to the committee that about MRPC, many of whom didn't know what MRPC was. Many of whom didn't know that their communities belong to MRPC. So my suggestion was that they reach out to Mr. Eaton and offer a forum for him to come and speak to the realtors when they are having these community updates from the cities. So I don't know if that's something you'd like, but that's certainly a great opportunity for you to let many people know what the role is of MRPC and how it can help their communities. And that is my new business.
Mr. Chairman, can I chat for just a?
Oh, please go ahead, Glenn.
And really 30 seconds, folks. It's Laura, thank you. I put in the chat that first of all, the letter, the creation of the letter, all the research and the writing all credit goes to Karen Chapman. I have the benefit of signing a lot of documents because they're policy related, but this is a staff, this is Karen's thing. So I don't want to take credit where credit is due.
She did.
And she did. Karen did a fantastic job. She knows the subject in and out. So I want to give credit where credit's due first. So Laura, thank you. Deflect that to Karen. The second issue or the second item about, speaking with a group, I mean, I'll address the opening of an envelope. So if a group, an entity, an agency, a forum would like to learn more about us, what we do, we'd certainly like to learn about them. I'd be happy to participate. Whomever, if it's you or another representative from this entity wants to reach out, then we're happy to do that. If it's an annual or if it's quarterly or whatever, it may be appropriate that Karen might want to be there sometimes. It may be appropriate that Jason would be there. It may be appropriate that Brad wants to be there or someone else on the staff or me. So I think we'll happy to receive the request. That's what I call just doing our job. So if we can help people better understand about that we exist, which is, 250 people I think know we exist in the region out of 250,000. And those are the local officials for the most part that receive our literature. We key in on the communities, the representatives. And what we're doing with this, another mailing of marketing materials, I'm just calling it bluntly, is we have to constantly re-educate because there's turnover on local boards. So that's why we do it. We're happy to do outreach, and we should be doing outreach at Rotary clubs and your entity and others. So please, Laura, when it's appropriate, send that person my way, and I'll be happy to liaise with that person. And thank you for bringing this up. We'd love to meet with them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question before we
Yes,
close.
John.
And I guess Glenn could answer this. It's on that reservations of trustees of reservations. They're working on this new lease for us.
That's the email response I received, that Brian Westrick indicated that Joe, I always screw up his last name. Let's just call him Joe. His surname begins with an E, and Joe will be preparing the lease. That, I guess that's in his job description to do that. So when this meeting concludes, I'll just email them again and say, hey, do you have that ready for us?
Right. But my question, like you had said, that financially it really was beneficial to us. It's nice, but also it was the site, and I hopefully we'll be in a better time soon when people can get together. But that was also, that location was good for meeting with other people and other entities, maybe something like Laura was talking about. But I don't know. I just want our use be limited in this new agreement.
How do you mean use be limited, please? I just don't understand that last part. Go ahead.
I'm not sure what you were saying. We wouldn't be using the atrium.
Okay. Separate issue. But we've had requests of groups ever since we moved in there, here and there, to meet with us and have a meeting. And quite frankly, they always involve us. For example, there are 2 meetings coming up that I have requests to use the space, and they both involve staff. And we used to have these meetings at the office. The issue that had come up several years ago, and none of this is related to the lease issue. The issue that came up several years ago was that if there's a day meeting I'll give you a practical example. The North Central Mass Chamber of Commerce has a leadership training program. They take the leadership students, about 20 of them, to a different site every month for about 8 or 9 months. And there is a professor of business at Fitchburg State University, and he works with a chamber staff person, and they basically hold a session from like 9 to 2. They've used us in the past for 3 or 4 years in a row. Because of COVID, they didn't do it last year, and they're getting back in gear right now. The issue of holding a meeting during 9 to 5, if you will, while there are staff in the area where the GIS people and now the transportation people are, is these meetings can be disruptive to the staff who are, basically, we have a library quiet office, right? So if you have a meeting in the atrium for 4 or 5 or 6 hours, it can be disruptive to the staff. And the staff have to walk through the atrium to use the facilities, the lunch, area, talk to their other colleagues on the other side of the wall, on the west side of the building, in the west wing, if you will. So that was the issue. It's just a matter about, protecting the staff in the terms of not being disruptive during the days. That was the issue. The lease is a separate issue. I hope I answered your question. Did I?
Yeah, you have.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not going to interfere. I mean, nothing's really changing. It's just that the site, that was part of why we picked that site.
Yes.
Obviously, it was a better one financially, but also it was also aesthetically, and there was a lot of opportunities for outside or
Yes.
that space in the middle. So
Yes.
all of the offices on the east side, all those rooms are offices now?
They have been ever since we moved in. They are occupied by some different staff now. Basically, the planning staff used to be on the east side where all the glass is that faces Abbott Ave, and the planning staff are all now in the west side with all the pine ceilings and stuff. And transportation staff are on the east side in the glassed in areas now. GIS has been there since I want to say GIS has been there since day one. I hope I'm right.
Yeah, I
Kayla's
remember
not.
that.
Yeah.
I thought we had a few meetings in some of those rooms, but
Not to
anyway.
my knowledge. Oh, we did. I'm sorry. We used the corner in the, let's see, we used the northeast corner as a small conference room. That's now all office space right now.
Okay.
And my old office in the rounded glass window area on the north side, that's a small conference room now.
I see.
I'm in Linda Parmenter's old office down the other end of the hallway.
Oh, I see. All right.
So, but
That's
thank you.
the
And
only
to
question I
borrow,
had.
to borrow something from Laura's world, location, to John's point. John, yes, we chose that location. It's 1,000 feet from Route 2. We're very highly accessible to other agencies to have meetings there inside and outside. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Glenn. Any other questions?
I had a comment.
Okay, Roger.
Just to say, as far as use of that space, I think we got like a Reese's peanut butter cup combination here of the staff having certain days when they'll be in the office, and then days that they won't be, and that room could be used. I suggest when you poll the staff or however of what days they want to be in for coordination, I guess you call it, between them, and then what days they won't be, and those days that room could be used.
Exactly, if I may, Mr. Chairman, to Roger's point, if the leadership class wants to be there on a Thursday, I would coordinate with the staff over there and say, hey, this entity wants to use this building on Thursday, the fourth Thursday of May or April or whatever. Please feel free to work at home that day. But if you need to come in, be advised there'll be a group meeting. So just absolutely, Roger, I don't want to do this without coordinating with the staff. Thank you for reinforcing that point, especially for the staff in this meeting tonight, and they can tell their colleagues and their staff. Thank you, Roger. Roger, glad to see you on the beach with me.
Yes, it's much nicer there.
Yeah. Okay. I wish we all could be on the beach. If no other questions, as Nick used to do through Robert's Rules small meetings, I will, if nobody objects, call this meeting adjourned at 8:14 p.m. And everybody, thank you for your participation.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay well, everyone.
Thank you.
You too.
Okay.